as important as how you lay it out, because you want that person to look at your document and go, okay, this is easy to read, and not just a whole pile of text all clumped up together on a page, and they just go, no, this is frying my head, I just can't be bothered. And it's the same when you go out into the workplace. You'll be asked to maybe create reports or professional documents or analytics into some sort of a report. So how you lay that out professionally is really important. And so I'm going to show you some tips and tricks about how to easily do that without getting too stressed. Easy navigation. So we're going to look at how everything's digital these days. So when you're sending reports and you're sending documents through, especially lengthy ones, you're usually doing it through a digital platform rather than the old style of snail mail and printing stuff out. So this is even better these days because you can put in hyperlinked tables of contents and so on. And it means that if somebody wants to quickly jump to a section, they just have to click on it and all of a sudden they go to page 56, or they go to a particular graph or a chart within your document. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to look at visual impact. So sometimes in your documents, a load of text can be just that, a load of text, and it's not always easy to interpret what you're trying to get across. So it's using the likes of SmartArt and charts and images within your document to be able to bring that text to life and to actually be more meaningful. So we'll be working with that as well. And then the last thing we're going to look at is speedy input. So again, there'll be items and pieces of text that you need to put in over and over and over again, and it seems very repetitive, and you know, it's like, I wish there was a quicker way of just quickly inserting this big chunk of text. So I'm going to show you auto text, how to do that, and building blocks, and also for maybe having documents where you need clients to sign or staff to sign. I'm going to show you how to put in a signature line. And then finally, we're going to just look at a few wee quick tips and tricks, and hopefully we have time to get through all this. So does that sound like a fun session today? Give me a wee thumbs up if so, and we will get going with working examples. So I am going to move to my document. Oh, I also meant to say today, very exciting news. For those of you who are engaging really well with the session, who are answering questions, I'm going to have some little scenario quiz at the end to test you. We're going to have some spot prizes, and they're secret spot prizes, but I've been told by Donna here, it doesn't matter what campus you're on. Gail and I see Rachel on the call as well. So Gail and Rachel, you're the judges, so you can decide which students are going to get the spot prizes, and we will send those to you. So you see, Microsoft sessions are fun. Okay, let's go. So we're going to jump straight into the practice Word document. And this is a document I sent you out earlier. It's a monthly report from this company, Westbrook Parker, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of different styles of text and objects within the document, and we're just going to work through it gradually. I know some people, when they start working with Microsoft or any kind of digital products, they get quite panicked. I don't want you to panic. We're going to go through it. We're going to look at all the different tools, and at any point, if you feel I'm going too fast or you want me to show you something again, just raise your hand and Gail will see you and call it to my attention. Is that okay, Gail? Okay, awesome. Okay, so the first thing that we said we were going to look at was spacing and breaks. So I'm going to scroll down here to the first page. You can see, yeah, that's okay. That's quite nicely spaced out and easy to read. Let's go to the second page. Oh, okay, well, that's not the same as that. It's a wee bit more chunky. So let's get the paragraph space and correct it. So the first thing I'm going to do is select all of the text, okay? And then I'm going to go up to my paragraph settings, which is the little arrow just on the home tab of the ribbon beside paragraph. And this opens up a pop-up box, and you can see we've got different places in here that you can change your settings. So I'm going to go down to spacing, and this area is your paragraph spacing, and this is a great way to troubleshoot as well. So I'm going to add paragraph spacing in here, but likewise, if you find that your paragraphs are spaced out and there's big blank spaces that you can't type in, and you want to adjust that, then you would go to here to decrease the paragraph spacing as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just insert, and you can see a wee snapshot down here. I'm going to insert I'm going to insert a 6-point spacing before and a 12-point spacing afterwards. And when I hit OK, you can see that that automatically puts a space in. Now, if you notice, I can't type. I'm trying to click in the space. I can't, because this is a it's a non-data entry space. It's just to put space in. All right. And we can see that that's laid out quite well now, matching that above. I'm going to select this again because I want to show you a couple of other things, cool things in spacing. And that is in the indentation. So you know, sometimes when you're writing something, you want a piece of text to really focus the eye, to stand out on a page. And to do that, what you want to do is maybe make more white space at either side of the page. So you can set your indents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in here, say, a 2-centimeter indent on the left. So you can see in the preview that has pushed the text in 2 centimeters. And I'm going to do the same on the right. And you can see that has also pushed the text in 2 centimeters. And when I hit OK, you can see that that pushes the text into the middle of the page. And I still think this is a bit untidy, so I'm going to hit justify there to just tidy it all up. And you can see how that really just makes that text stand out in the middle of the page. Everybody okay so far? Is this useful? Hope so. Okay, so I'm going to hit the magic button, which is undo and undo. We love the magic button. And I'm going to go back into paragraph again. So another trick in paragraph settings is that you can hit special indentation, which allows you to pop a little indent just in the first line. So you can see here that that makes the first line indent a little bit. And again, that's another way of just being able to draw the eye and draw attention to a particular piece and block of text within your document. Okay, I'll go back, hit undo, and go back in again. And the other one then is hanging, and that's where you have the first line is sits out from the rest of the text. Okay, and that is paragraph. That's paragraph spacing. And one other troubleshooting tip as well is if you find that on your page, your paragraph spacing is all weird and you can't seem to get it fixed, when you go in to paragraph spacing, just check that this box isn't ticked, okay? Because sometimes it ticks by default, and it means if you tick it, it means it won't allow you. You can see that it takes away the paragraph spacing. It says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Well, I do want spacing in there, so I'm going to untick it and hit OK. All right. So there we go. That's the first bit done. I don't think that was too painful. So we're going to move on now to, and hopefully has anybody got any questions at this point, Gail, on spacing, or are we all okay so far?
No, everyone seems to be okay so far, but just remember, if you do have questions, do feel free to pop those into the chat box and I'll keep an eye out for that.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, so we're going to move on now to page 3, and I'm going to be dealing with these comments. As you can see, there's a big.
Sorry, Jackie, do you
Sorry.
mind if I just interrupt you there because it's
Yes.
just to do with the first one? So what
Yes.
line space do you recommend?
Oh, okay. There's a good question. So, well, so line spacing and paragraph spacing are different. Okay, so paragraph spacing is the white space between your blocks of text. Line spacing is the spacing between each particular line in a paragraph. So that would be up here. Normally, I would say single line spacing. However, one of the things I learned when I was doing my teaching certificate is if you're creating um, documents or any kind of worksheets or anything like that for people who have, or to make it easier to read or for people with learning difficulties, you're better doing 1.5 line spacing. You're also better using either Arial font size 12 or Times New Roman size 12. And another quick tip for free is if you're printing it out, don't print it on white paper. Print it on paper which is off-white because it's easier for people to read. So there's a few wee tips for free for you. But normally, if you're just doing normal documents for business or for work, single line spacing is fine. Or even 1.15 if you feel that the document is very wordy and hard to read. Does that answer the question? Okay. Hope so. Okay. So we'll move on to, oh, right, maybe paragraph spacing, sorry. So paragraph spacing, I would normally say, 6. 6 between each paragraph is normally okay. But if you want the paragraphs, again, if there's a lot of text on the page, I would go for 12, because again, just that wee extra bit of white space can make it easier to read. Okay, right, we'll move on. So we're page 3, and I'm going to deal with these comments in the sidebar later on. But this is, so the person who has sent me this document, I'm going to pretend it's my boss, even though it was me, says, do we have an updated version of this chart? Can it be resized in landscape to make it easier to read? So we're going to come back to the actual SmartArt version of this. But for now, what I'm going to do is it says, can it be resized in landscape and make it easier to read? Well, yes, I can do that. But to do that, I need to put this chart on a separate page. Okay, because at the minute, all my pages are portrait. Okay, just ignore, you see this white space down the right hand side? That's not actually part of the page. Okay, that is just a comment and a track changes panel. Okay, so that will disappear if I go to references, go into review and hit no markup. It just disappears. Okay, so all right, so that's what that is. So that doesn't print out or anything. Okay, so to do this, I need to put this on a separate page, because if I go to change this to landscape, well, if I go to change this to landscape, can somebody put in the chat what is going to happen to the whole document if I try to change this one page to landscape right now? Any answers?
We have all pages will change. All pages will
Correct.
change.
Yes, that's right. So we want only this page to change. So what we're going to do is create a section breaks. Okay, so we need to create a section break at the start and at the end of this page. So I'm going to click on just at the start of the page here in the heading. I'm going to go to Layout, Breaks, and I'm going to go, because we're already on a new page, I'm going to hit Continuous Section Break here. Okay, and then I'm going to go down to the end of the page and I'm going to click breaks, and I'm going to click continuous section break here as well. Okay, because my next page is already created. If you had no other page after this one, if this was the last page, I would click section break next page, because what that does is it creates a section break and then it actually creates a brand new page to start off with in portrait when we change it to landscape. Okay, so now I need to make sure that my mouse is clicked into the middle of this page, and I'm going to go to Layout, Orientation, and Landscape. So that has now, oh, now why did it do that? That was very naughty. Hold on a wee second. Let's just go back, magic button. So sometimes it's a wee bit of trial and error here. Ah, that's fine. Okay. So let me just undo. Okay. So a wee tip here. Here's a good wee tip when things don't go the way you want them. If you want to see where all your lines, spacings, tabs, breaks are, then click the Show Hide button on the Home tab, and that will show you where everything is. Okay, so this is page break, and we're going to click after the page break, and going to go to Layout, Breaks, and let's just try next page. That's better. Sorry. Yeah, next page. Okay, right, we're done. We're good now. Everything's good. Life is restored. And we're going to go to the end of the page and again click breaks, and I'm going to just hit continuous page break this time, and that should do the job now. So if we go back into this page and we're going to hit orientation and landscape, that, oh, why is it doing this to me today? It's not behaving itself. Okay, as with all things, this worked earlier and now it's not working for me at all. Ah, I know why. This wasn't the one that I meant to change to landscape. That would be why. So there we go. So there's a good learning curve for Jackie. Jackie put something in her exercise that Jackie did not mean to do. So I'm going to, but look, at least you can see how to do it. So this will change it to landscape, and then it will put the next page back to portrait again. So if I check this, take this off, no markup. Here we go. So there's portrait, landscape, and because there was too much text on this page, it has made this 2 landscape pages and then portrait. Okay, so it's only because there's too much text to fit on 1 landscape page, so that is why it's gone to 2 pages, but that wasn't the one that I actually meant to do. There's one later on. So I'm going to just do magic button to undo all of this and go back to normal. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go back to simple markup. Okay, so that's fine. We're going to come back to SmartArt later on, and we're going to do another section break and change to landscape for something that does actually work later. So the next thing we're going to do is go to page 4. And I can see that section break has just mucked up my, there we go. That's it, I mucked up my page numbers. Okay, so we're going to go to page 4, and the first thing I'm going to do is I want to put these 2 tables on separate pages. So I'm going to click the paragraph marker between the tables and go to Layout, Breaks, and Page Break this time. I don't want to create a section break because I've no need to. I just need a page break because I want the table on a separate page, because I might type a lot of text underneath this table to explain what this is all about. Okay, so that's all you do. And this is one thing that I notice, especially when I get maybe assessments in to review or so on and so forth. Whenever it's emailed to me, people have maybe hit enter just to get their cursor onto the next page. And the answer is no, no, no. Just insert a page break. When you're ready to type on a new page, it's layout, breaks, page break. Okay, and that's the way to do it. Okay. Now, the next thing I can see on our pages is everything's in dollars, and I want to convert these. I'm going to just take my paragraph markers off, and I want to convert these to pounds. So does anybody know very quickly, how do we change all of these dollar signs to pounds in one go? Let's have a few answers in the chat. And remember, there are prizes up for grabs here, so get answering. Have we got any answers, Gail?
Control find,
Okay.
then change symbol, as somebody else has said. Control find, then change symbol.
Okay.
Somebody's confessed they have no idea.
That's okay. That's what this course is about.
Replace it one by one, or highlight them all and change the pound sign.
Okay. Okay, so there's some very slow ways of doing it there. They are correct, but they're very slow. So the quickest way of doing it is to click on the Home tab, click on Replace. And all you need to do is type in what you're looking for. So in my case, I'm looking for the dollar symbol, but likewise, you could be looking for a particular word or a phrase or a name, and you would, excuse me, just type it in there and make sure that when you're replacing it with whatever it is you want to replace it with, that you type it in with the correct case. So for instance, if you're changing, say, for instance, Jackie Smith to Gail Hamilton, then make sure that it's Gail with a capital G and Hamilton with a capital H, because what it will do is if you forget to do that, it will replace everything with whatever you typed in whatever case you typed in. Is that okay? So we're going to find dollar sign. We're going to replace it with the pound sign. And just to show you that this works, I'm going to hit find next. So what it has done is it's taken me to the next place in the document after where my cursor is in the document. Okay, so this is where I don't want people getting really worried that there's something wrong when it doesn't start at the very start of the document. Wherever your cursor is and you hit find next, it will take you to the next place after your cursor, but it will then go back up round and check everything before the cursor as well. All right. And what you can do is if you're happy that it's found the right symbol, you can either hit replace one by one and it will move you to the next and the next and the next, or you can just hit replace all and it tells you all done. We made 23 replacements and you just hit OK. All right. Do we like that? That's quite a nice way, and you can see it went back through to the top and looked through the rest of the document and replaced all the dollar signs in the other table as well. Okay, so that's quite a nice little shortcut. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is move down to page 6 here. And on page 6, we can see that it's a bit weird. We've got some column bullet points and some of it is a big paragraph and it just doesn't look right. So what we want to do is move this paragraph down here. And to do that, we need to create a new section break again, because this is in column format, but this we want to be in normal format. So we need to put it in a new section. So I'm going to click before off, go to layout, breaks, continuous section break, and you can see that that has automatically moved it away from the columns, but it's still in a one column format. I want it to be across the page. So to do that, I'm going to select it and go to columns under the layout tab, and I'm going to hit one column. And there you are, it's back to a normal paragraph. Okay. Is everybody, I did run through that quite quickly. Are we all okay with that? Give me some thumbs up, give me a thumbs down if you need it gone through again. You can tell me, Gail, because I can't see the chat.
Yes, we had one question. I'm just going to go back up.
Yes, that's okay.
And it was about, I think it was whenever you were putting in Lauren, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's when you're putting in the page break and moving that to another page. And you had said that you had seen people come and send new documents and they'd hit return, return.
Yes, yes.
She's saying, how can you tell? How do you know that that's what
Haha.
they've done?
I know because, Lauren, that's a very good question. I know because I turn on these show hide and I can see when people have gone like this. See all these things here? If there's no next page break, I can tell that they've just hit enter, 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 enter. Okay. It just means that when you do that, instead of inserting a page break, it means if you add more text into something into the previous page, what that does is it pushes the text on the next page down more and more and more. Whereas if you have a page break in and you need to put more text in before it, then that's okay. It won't damage the text or push the text or annoy it in the next page. Is this making sense? Yeah. So they're there just for so that you don't have to then go and fix the stuff on the next page because you've done something additional on the page before. Okay. All right. Okay. Where to get to? Oh yes. Okay. So the next page. So this is the one. This is the one that we wanted to put this chart on a separate page. So can somebody just very quickly, somebody shout there, put your mic on and tell me how do I put this chart on a separate page and turn it to landscape? Who wants to volunteer to talk me through this? Any volunteers, Gail?
No
So
volunteers,
go
but
to
I would
your
just
page break,
encourage.
Jackie.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, there we
Somebody's,
go.
who's that?
This is Brenda. I'm not
Hi,
sure if you can
Brent.
hear me because I'm on my phone.
I can hear you. You tell me what I need to do.
So we had this issue, and I know you've just showed it just now as well. We have had this issue with our lads. We did our dissertation there,
Huh?
and it confused a lot of us for to try and get this page break.
Yes.
So yeah, we did what you did there, and we went up. I showed it to them on the chat show where you go up to the page break on your insert, I think it is. I can't see right here now, but
Oh, it's layout. Yeah, you're all right. Go on
yeah,
ahead.
and go down, and I've told them for to go to the bottom of the page that you're on.
Uh-huh.
Click your cursor there, then go up to page break and go down to page break next page,
Uh-huh. Good.
and that'll bring up hopefully the page break,
Yes, the
and
page
then you
break is
can go down
there.
to the next. Yeah, go down to the next page and put your
Well, it's
cursor
now
on that.
it's not page break, it's the next page section break.
Yeah,
Because remember, we're wanting to change it to landscape, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
yeah.
Okay, and then what were you saying then?
Go down to the next page, put your cursor on the next page, and then go
Yep,
up and change it to whichever you want, landscape or portrait. And for this,
perfect.
yeah.
There we go. And that has worked perfectly. Well done. Well done, Brenda. Okay, good. So so there we go. So that's put that onto a separate page, and we were able to make it into landscape without destroying the other portrait style pages. And the other thing we want to do is this chart looks a bit odd, so we want to make this chart bigger. So Brenda, while you're still on there, how do I just very quickly make this chart fill the page?
Yeah, for me, God, I did a lot of fiddling about with these, but I would have highlighted the whole page, or you can highlight the corner and you can drag it down. You can drag the corner down to widen.
There we
Yeah,
go. Good.
yeah.
Okay. So did everybody see how to do that? So thanks, Brenda. That was brilliant. So you just anything that is inserted into a Word document is an object that you can resize. And when you click on it, you'll see that it comes up with a frame and they call these little handles, these little round markers. And it just means that you can, when you hover over it and you get a double-headed arrow, you can click and drag to resize it. Okay. So that's quite handy. And also, if you notice, any object that you click on in a Word document or PowerPoint or Excel, when you look at the top menu, the ribbon, you've got two extra tabs that appear, and those are to specifically work with that object. So say, for instance, that chart, I go, it looks a bit boring. I think I would like to maybe have it looking a wee bit more interesting. You can scroll over all the different possibilities that you can put in to make it restyled. And then also you can change the format of the text and the position and so on. We're not going to go into that today, but that's just a quick tip there to show you how to do that. Okay, so that's
Jackie,
good.
can I just quickly mention too
Sure.
that sorry, my chat's not working, so I'm just doing the thumbs up, but my chat won't
That's
work.
okay. That's great. Thank you, Miranda. Okay, so where do we get to now? Oh, yes. Okay, so we'll go to the next page. So the author has asked us to insert a table and chart from a spreadsheet before this summary, okay? So we do actually have a clear line here before the summary, and what we're going to do is we're going to quickly switch into an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to have to stop presenting this and switch into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to share my spreadsheet now. Okay, everybody okay and can see it okay?
Yep,
So is that okay, Gail? Yeah. So we've got a little chart and a table here, and we want to copy and paste these into our Microsoft Word document or report, but I don't want to, these might change. So I want to be able to copy and paste them into the document so that if anything changes on the spreadsheet, it will automatically change in the Word document. Okay, so I'm going to just click on the, I'm not going to choose this because we know it's the Westbrook Partner Report, but I'm just going to choose the actual table here. And I'm going to do the copy. I'm going to do it one at a time just to show you because I think you have to see this a couple of times to make it work. So I'm going to do copy, just Control C. I'm going to switch back to the Word document now. Okay, and I'm going to go in here, and instead of just hitting Control V or paste, I'm going to click on the down arrow at paste, and we can see that we've got a few options here, and one of them, as you can see, is link and keep source formatting, or link and use destination styles. Okay, so it's up to you which one you want to use. I think the color's quite pretty, so I'm going to link and keep source formatting. All right, so that means if anything changes in the spreadsheet, then the Word document is linked to the spreadsheet and it will automatically update. Now, there's one caveat with this. It means that the spreadsheet and the Word document need to be saved in the same folder. Okay, so you can't move the spreadsheet out of the folder where the Word document is and move it into somewhere else because that will break the link. Okay, everybody okay with that? Do you want to see that one more time?
Just had a question there, but what is the difference between the two?
Between which two?
Could you just clarify that? Okay, which two?
Was it the paste? Was it the paste with
Maybe it's
formatting?
Control V, and yeah, maybe it's using that. Yeah, I'm guessing possibly yes.
There's no difference except how it looks, as you can see. So source formatting is what you take in the formatting from the original document, which is the Excel spreadsheet, and that's the way it looked in it. Or destination style is converting the actual style into the same as the format of the document that it's going to. So that's the only difference between those two.
And
But you're linking the data.
If you do the shortcut there, Control V.
Control V, it just goes in as if it just goes in as a just the text that is there. It won't link the data. So if I hit Control, oh, sorry, hold on. If I hit Control V, it looks the same, but if something changes on the spreadsheet, this won't change. Okay, because it's just taken it as the fixed text. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go back and do the same for the chart. And I'm realizing the time, we've still got quite a bit to do. So we need to keep going. So I'm going to very quickly do the chart, and I'm hoping that this is, actually, do you know what? I'll just stay on Word and I'll copy the chart in the background because it's just a matter of copying it.
Sorry, Jackie, I know you're on a roll there, but I see that if you put in a different folder, does it just not change anymore, or does it show an error?
No, it'll just not change anymore. Yeah, so it'll just be the last data, whatever showed in your document, that'll just stay there. So if you try to update it, it won't update because there's nothing to update from because the link is broken. Does that help? Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to go to paste and I'm going to link and use destination source formatting. Use source format and keep it the same. And again, the chart is the same. It will update because I've linked it. All right. I hope this is helpful. I just want to go in and I'm going to change. So you should be able to see my Word document. And if I change, this better work, otherwise I'd be eating my hat. So if I change this to 128,000 and go to my table and go to my table and update link. So if I right click on the table and hit update link, that has now changed to 128,000. Okay, so so when you produce reports with tables that are linked, before you actually send them on, just double check by right clicking and hit update link that the data is all the same as it was before. Okay. Okay, so that's that. We're going to move on. Sorry, guys, we need to move on quickly because I've just realised the time, and we're going to move on now to tables of contents. So this is again something that is really useful when you want people to be able to use your document and jump quickly from one section to the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a blank page because we don't have any space to put a table of contents in here. So click before executive summary. I'm going to go to insert and blank page. Now, what you'll see in the blank page is we've got a blue line here which has copied the format of our heading. So to put this back to normal text, I'm just going to highlight it, go to the Home tab, and you can see it's heading 1 is selected. I'm just going to click normal and that just puts it back to the normal text style. Okay, so that's another wee quick tip there. If you see things that are in the wrong format, just highlight them and put it back to normal. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a table of table of contents. So we're going to go to references this time. And referencing is a fabulous tool. I'm sure a lot of you have got used to using it now, but for those who haven't maybe got the hang of it, then we'll just have a quick go with this. So go to references, go to table of contents, and you can see that you've got a range from the gallery to choose from. I quite like the look of the second one, table of contents, and all I do is click on that. And you can see that that pulls across all of the headings that are in heading style. And this is the important bit. If you go, hold on a wee minute, there's a there's a heading that should be in there and it's not showing up. Well, it's maybe because it's not in the right style. It has to be in, if you go to home, it has to be in like a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. It actually has to be in that heading style to show up in the table of contents, because that's where it pulls its information from, is the style of text that is there. So just to prove this, what we're going to do is we're going to pop in on page 3 here. I'm going to just pop in a new heading. And I'm going to call it company news. Okay, now I've just called it company news. It's in normal text, that's no good. So I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to put it into heading 1 style. I'm going to go back up to table of contents. It's not showing up. That's okay. So when I click on table of contents, you can see it says update table. Click on that and I'm going to say update entire table. Okay. And what that's done is it's pulled across company news and said what page it's in. And it just means that when I control and click, say I want to quickly jump into client's overview, control, I get a wee hand click, and that just quickly takes me back to client overview. Okay. Okay, so that's table of contents. That was super quick, but hopefully you were able to keep up. The next one I want to show you is how to do tables of figures. And tables of figures, before you even get that far to insert them, you need to actually allocate which tables are figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, etc. So I'm going to go down here to this table and I'm going to just select it here with the wee four-headed arrow selection button. I'm going to go to references and I'm going to hit insert caption. Okay. And insert caption, I've got table 1. And if you want to, you can also add a label in as well. Okay. So I'm just going to call it client table. You can also say, where do you want the caption? And I'm going to say below select item. Okay. And if you want to, you can exclude the label, i.e. client table, from the caption, but I'm going to leave it in and then hit OK. So that has just captioned that table 1 client table. I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm just going to call it table 2 because we're running out of time. And I'm going down to this chart. I'm going to insert a caption here, table 3. What's that done to that? That's just because my chart was too big. Hang on, resize that down. Okay, and let's go back, insert caption, table 3, and we'll do this table, and that'll do us. Okay, and table 4. Okay. Okay, so we've got our captions in. So now what we want to do is we want to insert a table of figures, and I'm going to do this just down at the very end of the document. And as you can see, when I'm trying to hit enter, it's still sitting here in column format. So I'm going to have to insert a section break on the next page, and I'm going to go and pop in a table of figures. And again, you can choose, you can see what print, how it's going to look, print preview. You can change the tab leader to a solid line, to dotted lines, and we're not going to get into formats and so on just from now, but you can also put in hyperlinks instead of page numbers, which means it's easier for people just to click and quickly jump to that figure. But if you're printing this document out, you would be much better putting in page numbers, because in printed format, they're not going to be able to click on the hyperlink in a printed document. Okay, so I'm going to do that and hit OK. And what that does is, again, it just pops in the table of figures, and it means I can quickly jump to the actual table. Okay, so that was yeah, so that was tables of figures. Is everybody okay? Any questions? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
No questions, lots of comments of people saying that this is really helpful. Some people
Oh,
wishing they'd known this information before they
oh,
did their dissertations. So
oh, sorry.
lots of useful info.
Oh, good. Okay.
And we've one question.
Yes.
There's one question coming through. Could you give any tip on how to freely move a figure? Because for me, it's pretty annoying to do it on Word. I usually make a text box and paste the figure inside.
I'm not sure what you mean by figure. Are you meaning to, I'm about to do cross-referencing, so I'm wondering, is that, can we come back to that question at the end? Because I
An
want to get,
image,
is
like
that
an
okay?
image. I'm wondering if it's posting an image and then you're trying to move it anywhere just on the page. You know, the
Oh,
way
yes,
sometimes
no,
in
I'm
Word
going to show you. I'm
yeah.
going to do that. I'm going to do that in a wee sec. Okay, no problem. Yep. Okay, so very quickly then, say we want to cross-reference, excuse me, some of these tables or figures throughout the document in different paragraphs, so that you can kind of, if you're referring to something, you can say see table 1 or see table 3 or something like that there, okay? And again, you get a hyperlink. So what did I say? End of last summary test. Okay, so what we're going to say is we want to reference this chart here, and I am going to reference it here underneath this column. So all I do is click on cross-reference, and it will bring me up a list of different different possibilities to cross-reference. So I'm going to say I want to cross-reference it to table 3, okay? And I hit insert and close. So that can basically, you can put text in there if you want beforehand, and you can just say see table 3 or something like that there, okay? And again, it means that somebody can just very quickly click on that and cross and jump back into whatever page it's on in your document. Okay, so that's cross-referencing. So that's quite handy. But remember, for cross-referencing, you have to have your objects captioned first. Otherwise, they won't come up in your list. Okay, so if you don't have your tables or your figures or whatever captioned, then there'll be nothing here to cross-reference to. And it same goes for bookmarks or footnotes. If you've put those in, you can cross-reference to a footnote or an endnote or a bookmark just the same way. Okay. Okay, good. Right, we are going to keep going. What are we doing now? We are going to do SmartArt. Awesome. Okay, so here we have a lovely organizational chart, and we have to fix a few things on this because it's out of date. So the first thing I want to do is remind you that this is also an object, which when we click on it can be resized just the same way as any other object. But it is also a SmartArt chart. So with this, it means that you can overtype things in these text boxes. So for instance, say Darren King has been replaced by Jackie Smith. I can do that. That's really quick and easy to do. But say, for instance, Per Dolores here got fired, so we're going to delete her out of the chart. All you do is make sure that that box has got a solid line around it and hit delete. And Dolores is gone from the company. Bye-bye, Dolores. Okay, so now we are going to decide that Eddie Bullock has done a great job and we want to promote him. So when we click on Eddie's box, instead of you having to start faffing about and drawing more lines and moving the text box, can you see that we've now got two tabs at the top called SmartArt Design and Format. And on SmartArt Design at the left-hand side, we've got Promote and Demote. So I'm going to promote Eddie Bullock. Now, that doesn't mean that Eddie has got an actual promotion. All right, it just promote in SmartArt talk and language just means you're moving that box from that level up to another level, or demote is moving it from that level down to another level. So I'm going to hit promote, and Eddie is now up here along with the other managers, and he has brought his team with him. So that's absolutely, we're happy with that. Okay, so that's promote. I'll just show you that again. So if I demote him, oh, sorry, undo. So if I promote him, he just moves up the chain. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you then is the text pane. So this is fine and dandy doing it just on the chart, but it can get very confusing and very messy trying to do it here. So if you click text pane, this actually shows you everything that's on the chart, but in bullet and sub-bullet form. So again, it means that you can work with the text here as well. So say, for instance, Patrick gets, I'll just undo that, sorry. Say Patrick gets a promotion. What you can do is hit Shift and Tab, and that will just, again, move him up to a promotion. I'll just undo that and put it back because the chart's getting a wee bit messy. And likewise, if Denise gets demoted, you can hit Tab and that will pop her down into the other, the next across column. Okay. If, for instance, Denise is in this under Eddie here, as you can see, and she shouldn't be, she should actually be under this management chain instead. What you can do is just highlight her details in the text pane, hit Control X to cut. You can see she's disappeared, and then go to under VJ, hit Enter and hit V to paste, and you can see that Denise has now appeared under the correct channel. Is that okay, or did I go through that too quickly? Is everybody all right?
Yeah, there are a couple of questions, but what I've suggested, Jackie, is that we'll collate just to keep the questions coming.
Perfect.
We'll get them all at the end, and then just because I'm conscious that some people might want to go to the PowerPoint one as well.
Yes. No, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Okay, so that's SmartArt. So the other thing that you can do with SmartArt as well, and I'm just going to get rid of the text pane, is you can change colors. So you can change your colors to different colors. That's not very, it seems to be on a theme here, but you can also change it to different very funky types of styles and make it look like a 3D image and so on and so forth. And that's really good. So yeah, we're going to, that's just aesthetics. So we're just going to move away from that now. Oh, I think I've been clicking on too many things too quickly and it's just fried bird's head. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, yes, somebody was asking about inserting images and playing around with them. So let's do that very quickly now. So in here, I'm going to insert just a stock image to show you how to do this. So go to Insert Pictures. I'm going to go to Stock Image. I'm just going to type in business to see what sort of businessy pictures come in. And I'll do this handshake and hit Insert. Okay. Okay, so here we are. Now, what we want to do is be able to move this about. At the moment, it's fixed into the line text. So if you click on the change layout options here at the side, you can then hit, say, for instance, above and below or top and bottom, and that will then allow you to resize. Don't worry if it goes on to another page, just resize it. You can move it around. And the other thing you'll notice is with Microsoft products, it's great. When you move very slowly, can you see a little green margin appears when you hit the center of the page? So that's really, really cool for lining your stuff up so that it looks really straight. And the same goes for at the side. Can you see at the side margin there, side of your text, you have a wee green line at each side, so you can line your images up that way as well. And the same would go for right up in the middle. You can see you've got, that's bang center of the page. Okay, so that's the way that you would move things around. and again up in the picture format tab. So again, if you notice when I'm clicked away from the picture, picture format disappears. When I'm clicked on the picture, hey presto, the tab comes back, and you can just go to the same, you can go to position, you can go to wrap text and get all the same functions that you would before. Now say for instance you wanted to put this in as like a background image with text over the top. Very quickly you can hit behind text, and that means that when I move that up, you can see how that picture appears in behind the text. And then you can use things like transparency to fade out the picture and so on and so forth. Okay, and that just is how you do that. Okay, so hopefully that's answered the question that you had about moving images and objects around and resizing them, positioning them, and so on. Right, okay, we're nearly there. I know we've hit the last mark. There was a lot to do. I just want to show you, the last thing I'm going to show you actually is just auto text, because I do think that this is genius. So auto text is actually not anywhere here on this menu. You have to go to File and down to Options. Go to Options, and when you go to Proofing, click on Autocorrect Options. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that company name was Westbrook Parker with a hyphen, and it's quite cumbersome to type in all the time. So I'm actually just going to type in WP as the shortcut, and I'm going to type in Westbrook-Parker and hit add. Okay, and you can see that adds to my list of shortcut add text. Hit OK, hit OK, and then it means the next time I need to insert Westbrook Parker, I just hit WP, hit space, and Westbrook Parker appears. Has that been helpful? I think that's a good shortcut. Okay, and that goes for a body of text. You can do the same thing, just input your shortcut. Just remember what your shortcut is, and when you input those letters, and make sure they're not letters that actually form a word, because then you're into all sorts of problems. It has to be letters that make no sense, you know, as an actual word, and that will work for that. Guys, I think I'm going to stop there. We really did fly through an awful lot today, and I'm going to allow for the last few questions just for a few minutes, and because I want to allow you time to go to the PowerPoint session. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit of a roller coaster, but I hope you learned some tips and tricks there that are going to help you.
Jackie, there's lots of great feedback coming in, so that people find that really, really helpful.
Good.
We do have a few questions that we'll get through as many as we can in the next few minutes.
Okay.
So looking at whenever you were doing about the captions.
Yes.
And Malika, you have asked, can we change the format of the caption to fit a certain academic writing style?
Oh, you mean the text format? Yeah.
So you just click select and then change your text.
Yeah, just yeah, when you're putting in when you're selecting something, hold on, I'm just going to do this now in the background. Let me see, where am I? References, caption, caption. Oh, right, so do you mean change it? Yeah, so change it from, like, if it was an Arial font, is that what you mean? And change it into a different, like, Calibri or something like that there.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, all you do is once just select the actual caption, highlight it, and change the format just as normal as you would with any text. That's fine. That works fine.
And then another question is about zooming in on the text. Is there a way to zoom in on the writing in the text in Word? And also, is there a button or a way for document signing?
Oh yes, I forgot to show you signing. Right, okay, very quickly. This won't take long. I'll do zoom in a wee sec. So when you are inserting a signature line, I'm just going to do it here just because there's a bit of white space. So insert and signature line here. So click on signature line, and then what you can do is type in the client's name, say, or the staff name, put in what their title is. I've just promoted myself, girls, to manager, and you could put in the email address there, and then just say show sign date in the signature line. And when you hit OK, it means that when that person then signs that, then electronically, then the date will come up beside it. Okay. To zoom in, and I forgot to show you how to get rid of this as well. To zoom in, then there's a couple of things that you can do. Down at the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little slider with a plus and a minus, so you can zoom in here like this, back and forward, okay? Or you can go up to the view menu and you can zoom here and just set. Do you want to zoom into the page width, for instance? And it'll just do it automatically for you. Or do you want to look at multiple pages and that'll show you your whole document at one go? Has that answered that question okay?
Yeah, I think that has,
I'm just going to turn references off here. So references, this is your sorry, not references, review, track changes. So once you're happy that you've answered all the track changes, you can just hit accept, accept all changes and stop tracking. And what that does is it just takes everything off, all the changes that you had. Sorry, it's taken a wee second to come back. Right, my screen's just sort of frozen, so I'll go back to the normal screen, but it just removes all the stuff that you'd been doing on that wee navigation pane.
And we'll maybe take 2 more questions, and then I'll look through, make sure we haven't missed anything, and we'll collate them to send through at the end, if that suits everybody okay.
Yes.
Whenever you were doing the chart, it says, can we customize the box's color, i.e. do a gradient? So, work on a gradient color.
You can. There's somebody talking in the background there. I can hear.
Unmute here.
So yes, on the chart you can. Oops, that's Excel. Wrong one. So
if you could just check that you're on mute. I've been trying to say I can't find anybody that's not, but just make sure that you're on mute. Thank you.
So I think it's this one you mean. So if you click on the column and go to format, you can hit shape fill and you can change the fill to the likes of a gradient if you want, and do it that way. So shape fill and gradient, and let me see, just right click on this one actually. Hang on. So right click and format data series, and then a wee option comes up here with a fill bucket. Just click on fill, gradient fill, and then you can change the color to orange, and you can change all these sliders and have them all different colors and things like that, or you can have preset gradients in here if you want to use those. So that's how you do those. You can sort of play around with these. It depends, it depends what you want to do. I hope that's answered that question.
That's brilliant, thank you. And then we have Jenna is using a Mac, and some of the buttons, I don't know if you know this answer if you're not a Mac user.
Mac for Word, or Word Office for Mac. I'm not a Mac user, but go ahead. I'll see what I can do.
She's asking if, so she's saying some of the buttons that you've mentioned aren't on the ribbon of the Mac version of Word. Is there a way of changing the ribbon so it looks the same as the Windows version?
Yes. So if you go, Gemma, to you should still manage File. If you go to File and down to Options and go to Customize Ribbon, okay, you will get in here commands not in the ribbon, and you can find the command that you want and click on it and hit add. Put it into the tab that you want and just hit add. Oh, sorry, hold on. I'll get something that actually I can add in. Break. Let's hit that break and pick a group. Why is that not working for me? You should be able to put these in. Maybe I need to add a new tab. New group. Okay. There we go. Okay, so just add a new tab, and again you can rename that and call it Jackie's tab, and you can pop in some new some of these commands that aren't in the ribbon and add them in there. Okay. Hopefully that has answered that question.
Brilliant, thank you. Yep, that's working for her. That's great.
Yeah, cool, brilliant.
So I think we will wrap it up there. I will reassure you we'll go through these questions again, and if I've missed a couple, we will get back to you. I know there is one there about using Word and tips and tricks for using with dyslexia, but that might be something that'd be quite helpful to pull together a few wee tips and pointers to send round to everyone. But we'll let you go. Rachel very kindly has shared the links just to Future Skills Week. So do remember to check out those sessions. I'm sure there are some people that are keen to go to the PowerPoint session now that's starting at past. But remember to check out the others that are running. So we've LinkedIn that's happening later on today as well. And then advanced sessions on LinkedIn tomorrow. And we haven't forgotten about the spot prizes, but I just need to check how many spot prizes we're able to give away. And myself and Rachel will just check. I have noted a few names down here, so we'll check that our names
Well, you can go
tally
back
up.
through. You can go
Yeah.
back through the chat and all that there as well.
And we'll be in touch with those who
Yeah.
have been
No,
winners.
listen, thank you very much, everybody. I'm glad, and thanks for the comments. I'm glad this has helped you. And as Gail says, we'll try and get the answers to your questions through somehow after this session.
And the first question, so we missed 2 questions during the session. And the first one is about someone that asked about how to use the IEEE format for referencing within text.
Okay, so because it's you're using referencing from like regulatory or legal sources, and then you want to use citations, and to do that you just need to select the text that say the regulation that you're quoting. I'm just going to use this paragraph just for sake of argument, and that you've taken from, say, a website or a journal or a regulation manual, and we're going to insert a citation now. So underneath the paragraph, I'm going to click on Insert Citation. I'm going to click on, as you can see, I've one I created, one of what I did earlier. So I'm going to click on Add New Source. I'm just going to do this again just to show you. So the source, I'm saying that I got this particular citation from. You can see there's quite a lot of options. I'm going to say I got it from a website. And what I need to do is input all these details here. So if it's no one particular author, as in it's not an actual person's name that has made the regulation or the law or whatever it is, say it's case law or case study, I'm going to tick corporate author, and I'm just going to pop in IEEE, and I'm going to put in the number 2 because I'm conscious I already have that in the works cited. The next thing I'm going to do is say, what's the name of the web page? So I think if I flick into this, back into this website, I think you should see it on my screen. So I'm going to refer to this. So this is the IEEE Author Center, or IEE.org. So I'm going to copy this URL because I'm going to need it in a second. Flick back into my document. Just going to paste the URL in here of where I got this information from, for instance. And the name of the web page I'm just going to say is IEE.org. Okay. Or sorry, IEE, sorry, /reference guide is the page, and the website is IEE.org. The year it was published, you know, you need to go and see what year it was published, and I think we're gonna have to, oh, there it is there, 2018. Okay, so 2018, we don't know what year, month, or day, but we're going to just going to pop in, say, the first month and the first day of the first month. Okay, and hit OK. All right, so that comes up here as IE2 2018, but we want it to be in the format of IEE, and so to hit that, to change it to that, hit Style, and in the drop down you can see there's the IEE format. So if I click on that, it has now changed that to a 1 in brackets, and that is the style of referencing for IEEE. And then if we go down to the very back bottom page where we insert our bibliography, I'm just going to click here and say we had a number of works cited using that method. You just click on bibliography and pop in works cited, click on that, and you can see there that it comes up with the works that have been cited. Okay, now that was one that I had been messing about with earlier, so that wouldn't normally be on your list. Okay, I'm going to just take that out. Okay, so there we go. And that's how you change their referencing to that style.
That's perfect, thank you. And then the last question, someone had asked about any tips or tricks for people using Word who have dyslexia. So if there are any sort of tips and tricks to make it easier to work with.
Well, one of the things is the color of the page. So, you know, what you can do is maybe change it from bright white to like a buff color, which makes it easier to read. So if you go to the design tab and go over to page color, and you can change the color to a buff color. So I'm going to just click on this, the lightest shade here, but then I'm going to go back into page color and hit on more colors. And what you can do is, again, you can adjust the lightness or the darkness of the page background. And I'm just going to make it, yeah, quite light, and hit OK. You can see a preview down here, the original and the new, and hit OK. And it just makes it that kind of, you know, buff off-white color. Okay, so that's number one that you can do. The second thing I would say for people maybe who struggle with dyslexia is just make sure that the font that you're using is a font that is easy for you to read. And normally we use Arial text, a minimum of a size 12, and a minimum of maybe 1.15 or 1.5 line spacing. And again, that just makes it easier for you to see what you're doing and read the text. The third tip I would give you as well is, you know, if you're worried about spelling and grammar, go to the View tab and go over, sorry, Review tab, and go to ABC Check Document. So when you click on that, this will bring you up your editor score here, and you can click on spelling and double click on spelling. It will take you to the next place where there may be a spelling issue. What you can do is you can click on the read aloud. I'll not do it now because I don't know that it's going to come through the recording, but you can click on the read aloud and it'll read it out to you to see if it sounds right. And you can do read aloud here, and you can also spell out as well. And then you can change it in this box if you feel that it was spelt wrong. You can change it in there as well. The other thing I would note is in here saying English United States. So when you click on that, you'll get a text box or a pop-up box comes up, and you can change it to English United Kingdom and click on, you can set as default and say, do you want to change this to all new documents? Yes, and hit OK. So again, that helps you make sure that you're using the right dictionary for your spelling and grammar. And as you move through the different spellings, again, if you feel that this is correct and these seem to be particular terminologies, just check that, the letters, you can hit, oh, I don't know if you heard that, it just came through my headset when I clicked on it, but it did read it out. But you can also spell it out loud, and it means that if you're reading a particular phrase or word off a sheet of paper and you hit spell out, it will spell out as you're reading it on this sheet, so you know that you've typed in the right letters. So that's quite a cool wee option as well. And obviously you can I'm just going to hit ignore all. Okay, I'm going to hit ignore all for everything. So I've done my spelling check here, and I'm going to ignore that, and that's fine. And then what I've done is, because I hit ignore all, and I maybe have done it by accident, when you try to run spelling check again, it won't give you it won't check it again for you because you've already done it. So you need to reset your spelling and grammar check. And this is another good option, not just for people who are struggling with dyslexia, but for anybody. Go to File and go down to Options. Go to Proofing. And then what you can do is scroll down, and there's a button here called Recheck Document. So when you click on that, that resets the spelling and grammar check, and you hit yes. And then all you do then is hit OK. And what that does then is, when you hit Check Document, it takes you back to your spelling and grammar issues, and you can go through them again and make sure that you have chosen the right options. Okay, so so you can see that parlor is spelt an American version on that thing. So again, anything that's got a red underline, that's just giving you a little nod to go and check that the spelling is correct. And we can see there that there's parlor, and it tells you the meaning of it, which is quite helpful, because if you're not sure how it should be spelt, at least if it tells you the meaning, you know you've chosen the correct spelling from the meaning, and so on and so forth. The other option that we also have in, and I don't know, the only thing I'm saying this, but I don't know how good it is at listening to the Northern Ireland accent. Um, we also have the dictate function. So I'm going to just try this, but I don't know that it's going to like my North Antrim accent. So you can click on dictate, and then you can actually speak and it will type. Okay, so we're going to try this. I haven't tried this before, but look, I'm up for anything, so we'll give it a go. So I'm going to have to think of something that I actually want to write. So, okay, here we go. This has been a really good word course. And then you click to click it off. So you can see I said this has been twice, but that's okay. We can just take out the repetitive thing. So I think that dictate function does really work. So that's really good. I quite like that. I think I might actually be using that myself. And the other thing that you can do just very quickly is just change case. So we can see that this hasn't started with a capital letter or in sentence case. So I'm going to select the text and on the home tab, go to change case. I'm going to hit sentence case and then that just automatically pops your first letter of your first sentence into a capital letter. And hopefully that has answered your questions.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. That's everything. So hopefully we've covered everything. If not, do get in touch with us if you have any additional questions.